Spider-Man without the mask and like a battle axe, maybe? I don't know. Sorry about that. What's up, everybody? Eric here, Tabletop Haven, coming at ya with after one-ish plays of Karigar-e-Taj. Trying out a new mic, so we'll see what happens here. I did a little bit of testing, and it seemed like I kind of have it in the right position. I'm unsure on the quality, so let me know, but it's definitely louder, which I think is good because I felt like my videos were quiet. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, let's get into this. So this was a real flyer for me. This was a, I think there's less than 300 backers on this project, a Kickstarter project out of India that I just thought, cool, interesting theme, building the Taj Mahal, coming out of a different part of the world. Seemed an interesting enough game. Thought I'd take a flyer on it, so I did. And got it to table as a solo play. So keep in mind this is for a solo play against one AI opponent. You could run two. So here we go. What is this game exactly? Worker placement, worker movement type of situation. So you're building Taj Mahal, and you start out with 2 workers, and eventually you're going to get up to 3, but you start out with 2 workers, and what that means is there's a 4x4 grid, which is the Bazaar, and you can send your workers to the different Bazaar places. So each Bazaar location, you can go and either collect resources or you can exchange resources. So essentially, there is 12 Bazaar spaces, which are these, and then you can go to either side. So realistically, there's 24 different places you could go. However, each worker can only carry 1 resource. So if you wanted to go to this place and exchange a brick for 2 coins, you would have to take 2 workers there to carry the 2 coins with them. Same thing down here. If you wanted to trade in 2 coins for a brick, you'd have to take the 2 workers to carry the coins to buy the brick. Some of them have multiple resources over here. If you have 2 workers that you send there, you can collect the 2. If you send 2 workers to this place, you certainly can, but you'll still only get 1 resource. So when you're walking around the bazaar, it's all dependent on only one worker can carry 1 of any of the resources. So that being said, you're working on building the Taj Mahal, and it gets more difficult as you go. So there's 4 levels that you have to build, and so you can see here, we have the basic resources here. We have wood, brick, I think it's limestone, and then scaffolding, and then a couple silver, I think they're mohurs or something, there's silver and gold coins. And so this is essentially to build level of the Taj Mahal, level 1, the ground floor. These are the type of resources you need to do that. So you're going to be walking around the bazaar trying to collect resources. It's a worker placement, resource management situation. So it seems pretty straightforward, and it is pretty straightforward, but the hook is, and I was wondering if the game was going to have a hook, and it seems to. When you're sending your workers around in this grid, so I told you there is a 3x4 grid of these, and then there's 4 more. They're called trade spaces. So you can trade a regular generic good for a silver coin, and if you send 2 workers there, you could trade 2, and eventually you get a 3rd worker, so you could send all 3 of your workers there, trade 3 basic goods for 3 silver coins. So that's always in play. Every game, that's always in play. Also, every game, you can trade 3 silver coins for 1 gold coin. Gold coins are going to become, as you build higher and higher on the Taj Mahal, you're going to need more of the scarce resources and less of the generic resources. So for what that's worth, that's always in play during the game. And then the last two places on the grid, the 16 by 16 grid, are these alliance cards. Alliance cards are things that you can go and you can purchase. They have a purchase price. This one is a brick and a wood, and this becomes yours for the entire game. It gives you a certain amount of victory points, but it also gives you some sort of ability that you have for the game that no one else has. So this is trade 3 silver in for some marble, which is a higher commodity resource. And so there's a couple of these that you can get. So on your turn, essentially what you're going to be doing is going around visiting the bazaar, possibly those trades, possibly picking up an alliance along the way. But where the interesting nature of the game goes, and I'm going to talk about this in relation to solo play and why I think that a multiplayer game with actual humans is going to be a lot better, because when you have your workers on the grid, they can move orthogonally. So they can move sideways, they can move up and down. They can't move diagonal. So you're limited to what you're doing. If you want to get some of the more scarce resources, like this one here, you have to send 2 workers here. Anytime, even if there's just 1 marble that you're going to collect, you still have to send two workers to this scarce resource, or the higher quality resources. So even though you're only getting 1, you still have to send 2 workers there. But what I'm talking about that is your workers are going to be moving up, down, sideways, and so if you need them to go to a certain spot, you're going to have to somehow work it. They can travel together, so you can have them just travel in pairs or continually and get 2 of the resource or trading. But I think the interesting part of this game is going to be, like I said, when it's multiplayer. Because in solo player, how it works is there is a UI deck. The UI deck is extremely simple to run, which is very nice. My concern is that it's too easy. But let me get into that. I'll get into that in a little bit of a second when I talk about after my 1 play. This is, again, 1 solo play against 1 UI opponent, so take that for its worth. But I wanted to get a little bit out there on this game because it's new to the market. It's not a lot of people talking about it, and it's interesting. So, very simply, you're going to flip a card. It's going to show you a spot on the grid. You can see this is the 4x4 grid on the market, and you're going to basically, that spot is going to be taken up and unusable by you for that turn. Okay? Very simple. You flip that, you mark that spot off, it's not available. You take your turn, you flip the next one, that one gets taken up, and it goes like that for the, that's how the UI turn works. Now, it scales because when you're first starting out, when you're building level 1, the UI deck is going to have 4 cards. Once these 4 cards are played, they're going to build a level of the Taj Mahal. And so that's kind of the game, it's kind of a game timer. When it gets to level 2, so there's, you have to build level 1, 3 parts of level 1, 3 parts of level 2, 3 parts of level 3, 3 parts of level 4. So there's 12 total parts you're building of the Taj Mahal. Once a level is completed, you're going to increase the number of cards in here by 1. So at level 1, the deck is going to have 4. The UI deck is going to have 4. Or AI deck, sorry. At level 2, it's going to have 5. And these are getting mixed whenever they build one. But whenever they run out, they're going to build one. Whenever you build a level of Taj Mahal, you're going to get a nice little bonus card here. They could be something like this: earn 1 additional Taj point for every tile that you build. So for every one of those 12 tiles you build in the Taj Mahal, you're going to get an additional point at the end of the game. Or they could be some sort of resources. This is just like a straight up 2 points. This is, you can swap 2 basic resource for any 1 precious resource. So you can take 2 of your blue resources and trade it for, and this is just a one-time use thing. So you get these for building the levels of the Taj Mahal. So, what I noticed over the course of my 1 play is you could, theoretically, this deck here is a very distinct timer. You know exactly when they're going to build. During a regular game with multiplayers, everyone has a concealed board, so you can, if you're good enough, you can keep track of what resources they have, but I think that's difficult. I don't think I'd be able to do that, but some people probably could. But they're going to be behind a player board, so you don't know exactly, so you're not sure. Should I take one more turn to collect some resources, or are they going to build next? So that's something in a multiplayer game that's not available in this. You know exactly when they're going to build, so you can slightly game the system if you wanted to. I did not for this game. I decided to be like, okay, if I can build something, I'm going to build something. Even though theoretically I knew I had 2 more turns that I could have just gone around collecting resources, and it would have made the game easier. Now, I thought the solo game was fairly easy. That being said, the final score ended up being 125 to 79 in favor of me. I had 125 points. The AI had 79. However, the last tile being built came down to 1 card. So if I hadn't been able to do it on that turn, the AI would have built it and would have earned the final 20-point tile. Now that would have given them 99. It would have given me 105. So I would have won, but it would have been a lot closer. So it was within a very small window. Now again, I said earlier in the game, I kind of gamed the system a little bit. I didn't game the system. I wasn't maximum effective in how I could have gone and gotten some more resources while the AI was just doing their thing and then built at the last possible minute to maximize things. So I think trying it with 2 AIs, and the AI decks are the exact same. It's just 16 cards of the 16 different places they're going to take up, so you could run 2 of them very easily. Just this one takes that spot, this one takes this spot, now I take my turn. This one takes that spot, this one takes this spot, now I take my turn. And it might make it more tight, it might make it more difficult. And so I'm going to try that. I also, like I said, I want to play it with actual people because I think that's where the game is going to shine a little bit more. After one play, in a solo mode situation, I probably at 6.5, somewhere in there, just because, like I said, I feel like it was a bit easy. This is one I'm going to try and play a few more times and play with double AI in a solo mode. You can also add AI to a multiplayer game if you wanted to, just to probably make it a little more tight, make things a little more interesting. So these are things I want to try before I give it an overall review. Is this a game I'm going to pull out and play solo? Unlikely. However, it's possible running double AI opponent, and it's pretty snappy. It says 90 minutes on the box. I'm guessing that's playing with people, because playing with the AI, I think you could probably pound it out in 45 minutes fairly easily with one AI opponent. So playing with 2 AI opponents might make it interesting enough to actually bring out solo, but typically against one AI opponent, this isn't one I'm going to pull out myself. But again, I want to see how that the system works, because you might, with moving the workers around to different places, it's a little, I don't want to say Targi-esque, but that kind of grid situation where you're placing things, it's not really Targi. Now, here's the thing. I play a decent amount of games. I don't play a ton of games. I haven't played all the worker placement games out there. Maybe this movement along a path is in a decent number of other worker placement games. I don't know, but I've never played any. So all I can say is, from my experience, that was cool, because I've never played something like that before, and it was interesting to me. So it could be, I haven't played any of the Shem Phillips millions of worker placement games that he's done. Maybe it's in there. I don't know. But again, for me, it was cool. I haven't played a game like that where you have this kind of manipulation of your workers that you're sending out and sending to different tents in the bazaar and collecting resources. I thought it was pretty cool. I think it'd be more interesting, like I said, probably 15 times, playing it with other people who are trying, because the resources you're gonna need, these are the resources everybody needs. And so you got level 1, you got level 2, you got level 3, and you got level 4. I can't hold it right now, but you know what's coming up for the entire game. But everyone knows what's coming up for the entire game. So everyone is going to be trying to... There's probably going to be things that are... There's a bunch of these. I think there's 4 of each level. So there's going to be... Each game there's going to be different resources. So you could potentially have one resource that's real heavy in a game, and it's going to be extremely sought after, in which case those alliances that allow you to do special things on your own might be extremely key. That's one thing you don't have to worry about with AI. You don't have to worry about fighting for resources because it's like, oh, they took the spot that I needed because I would have liked to go there to get the resource, but like I can just wait till next turn. Whereas if you're playing with 2 other people, they're like, well, everybody needs to get there. It's just a matter of... And that's something where, I don't know, again, this is something I want to try. With playing with people, it might be a flaw in the game, is that if a particular resource is scarce, everyone's going after it, first player advantage might be insanely huge. Or it might make things really tactical, where you have to plan 2 or 3 moves in advance of where you need to go. Very interested to find out. I think it's got potential. I do think it has potential. I think it's cool that something like a little small design team, designers from India, produce something that I think is interesting. And there are definitely some things that could probably be cleaned up a little bit. The rulebook could be cleaned up a little bit. It's not perfect. I reached out and got an immediate response about a question I had about on the rules and things like that, which was nice that I got that immediate response. And once I kind of started playing it, it kind of clicked like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Now I understand what the rulebook was talking about once he explained it from his end, and then I started playing the game. So there's not a lot of ambiguity to the game. It's pretty straightforward. One of the things I did want to ask about, since you are moving, you have to move your workers. Like, you have to move your workers. But what I wasn't sure is if you had, let's say your 2 workers were here, could you move this worker over here and then this worker up to the spot your other one is or was? I played that you could. I don't know if that's proper or not. So yeah, but I played that you could. You can't just stay in one spot. But if you position yourself where this guy's going to move and this guy's going to take his place, that seems like it should be a legit move. There's also these elephants. I didn't use an elephant one time. It's a little mechanic that normally one person can carry one resource. Elephants can carry infinite number of resources. So there's a way that you can hire an elephant for an entire round, which is a round is when like level 1 of the Taj Mahal is being built. As that's being built, once the final piece is built of the level 1, that ends the round, and then it starts the next round. So if you hire an elephant in round 2, you have to rehire it in round 3 if you want to use it. I didn't use it at all. But again, that's something that I just don't have an answer on if it would be... There's definitely going to be more nuance when you're playing with other people. So I guess that's the long and short, and mostly long, of this video, is that this game, I think, is going to shine with multiplayer. They have little personal... not player boards, personal like player shields The back is empty. I feel like you probably could have utilized that for some things, like the cost of the elephants is nowhere except in the rule book. Back of the rule book, prime real estate for putting things. You could have put that, like here's cost of an elephant here, like just some generic things that are easy to. There are no player aids, but again, the game isn't super complicated, so I'm not sure like you would need your own player aid. Plus you have those boards, so they could theoretically just put it on the back of the board if they wanted to. I don't know that this game is ever going to gain enough traction to warrant like additional print runs where they could add that to it. But who knows? You never know what's going to happen. I really like the manipulation of your workers in the Bazaar. Halfway through the game, you get your third worker. Which is good because the level in 3 and 4 you're going to see are going to need a lot more stuff compared to your level 1. So the game definitely escalates in how it goes. And for just an example, okay. So for the level 3, it's going to be de-escalating points. The first person to build a tile is going to get 24. The second person is going to get 22. The third person is going to get 20. And there's 3 levels of that. So on each level, it's going to be de-escalating points. So the first person who gets there, the first person to build. The last person, the person who finishes off a level, also gets a little bonus. They get an extra bonus card. And then they also become first player for the next round. So there's some interesting elements because you're kind of incentivized to finish, but also if you're close to finishing, points escalate. So if you finish the last level of level 1, you only get 5 points. But the first level of level 2 is like 12 points. You're like, okay, well I could finish, but I could also save, let someone else finish, and then build the level 2 quickly and get those points. So it's kind of a balance that just needs some playing to see how it shakes out. This video was way longer than I was expecting. I'm sorry. But it's interesting to talk about, and I'm excited about the game. I think it's cool. I'm going to play it with other people and see how that goes, and hopefully that will make things more interesting. That was long-winded. Holy moly. You guys deserve a lot of points for that. I'm going to give you 25 glorious points. 25 Tabletop Haven points. Spend them wisely. Comment in the comment section down below how many points. If you earn points, put them down there. I'll give them to you. I got a running tally. Only one person has points right now. They have 35 points. Top of the leaderboard. Also, bottom of the leaderboard. So, take that for what you will. But anyway, 25 points. I appreciate you. I love you. Keep on gaming. Have fun out there. And yeah, we'll just keep going. I'll talk to you later. Bye!